Hi, I'm Roberto Martinez and you're watching Toffee TV.
Welcome to Toffee TV. We are back in the Winslow. It is me, Ped. I've got Baz with me as normal. Two guests this week. We've had to push the camera further back to get us all in.
They're going to say stretch the budget. They're going to say of what?
An extra
can of milk. To get milk.
Extra can of milk.
He got biscuits this week. We never get biscuits. So
right, we have with us Les Roberts, Top Blue off Twitter. Follow him, Les Roberts _porn1. And we've got Ronny Goodlass, ex-Everton winger and Radio Merseyside commentator. Love him or hate him, this man will tell us the truth, and I'm sure he will for the next half an hour or so. Right, we're going to start with a bit of positivity. I've been told we've got to start with positivity, so we're not going to start with Ronny.
He's always positive. Stop it, mate.
Thursday night, young boys. Okay, we went behind, but we pulled it through. A couple more goals for Lukaku and a good 3-1 win.
Yeah, it was the first 20 minutes weren't great, were they, let's be honest. But after they hit the bar, which would have been interesting if that had gone 2-0. After they hit the bar, we obviously went and got the penalty where Naismith done well, and once we went 1-1, they kind of realised that their Europa dream was over, wasn't it? And we comfortably put them to the sword in the end. But it was a nice bit of relief in the midst of everything that's going on in the Premier League.
Yeah. Les, I mean, how have you found the Europa League this season? Because it's weird, isn't it? We're so good in it, and
it's like you turn off the Europa League game, and like even I'm not going to start going on about the fans and the atmosphere, terrible colours, but the atmosphere is noticeably different for Europa League games. Everybody's more up for it. The team just seems up for it, which the crowd feed off as well. It's just Jekyll and Hyde, isn't it? It's mad. It's mad. And then you get to Leicester after, but we'll talk about that later.
A good win, Ron, and it's scary, isn't it? We are doing so well in it, and obviously Romelu Lukaku as well, another 2 goals. He's just loved it this season. And
well, I think what it is, Ped, as well, I think all the supporters think we're going to kick on then. You know, the first one in Bern was great, and you think, right, we're going to go on this unbeaten run, we're going to take the form from the Europa League, where we've done tremendous, as you say, and then we come back and it's disappointing. You go a goal behind, you've seen us show a bit of character, and again, you know, worthy winners done ever so well, was professional about it, scored 3 goals, what more do you want? So you go through 7-2 on aggregate, then the next game you think, here we go, well, let's start again, and it's like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, and that's the disappointing thing. And again, if you want confidence throughout the team, what better than playing in Europe and beating a club easily? So you come back, so again, it's either tactics, it's either manager getting team selection wrong, it's either sort of the way we play is suited to play in Europe. But this is where the manager, I call it the second season syndrome for Roberto. He's learning, and teams have come, and the old cliche of they've sussed us out. Well, that's what a manager's there for, is coaching staff, backroom staff, whoever it is, and change it. You know, the old plan B, C, D, whatever it is. But I just think we've dropped too many points at home for my liking. It's ridiculous. And again, we've got a lot of quality in that squad, but again, it's down to the manager to be a little bit more adventurous, which again, you know, some of the games I don't think we have been. I think we've stifled teams, and you know, good results against Liverpool here. But after we beat Crystal Palace away, which was great, we dug in and worthy winners again. Difficult place to get anything out. So if we get a 1-0 against Liverpool, who were really on song, 0-0. Okay, I still think we should have been a bit more offensive and gone for a win, you know, that day. But then it's again disappointing the next game and the next game, and then obviously the Arsenal game we might touch on later. But
how have you actually found the quality in the Europa League? Because this is one of the big arguments, isn't it? Is that loads of people keep telling me that the teams in the Europa League are poorer than they are in the Premier League. Therefore, we can play a lot more attractive football. We can play higher up the pitch because there's less pressing. But I mean, I don't necessarily see it like that, because I look at someone like Wolfsburg, who were flying in the Bundesliga. Yeah.
Well, now they are. They wasn't when we played.
No, not when we played in the first time, but certainly when we played in the second time, they were on form. But still, it's for me. I find it just to be an attitude thing.
Well, I think it suits the way Roberto wants us to play. You know, but it's too slow for when you play on the continent and you play in England, and that's why, you know, players, it doesn't matter, you know, if you're worth 4 million or 42 million, you come to play in the Premier League, every game's going to be difficult. And again, it's, you know, it's sort of, you know, take your time, give them time and space for a good player. Come to the Prem, and it'll happen at Stoke, but it happens with every game, totally changed. That's what I'm saying about you've got to play differently than the way we play in Europe. And now it is successful, but he's got to get a system and a way to get the best out of the players. And again, we'll touch on it, the Arsenal game, which I was disappointed with, where I really thought they were there for the taking, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, you look at players like Romelu Lukaku, don't you, and you just think, why isn't he scoring more goals in the Premier League? You know, he's banging them in left, right and centre in that Europa League, but in the Premier League, he just can't seem to hit a barn door, and yet they look like the same chances.
I think, I don't know whether it's a confidence thing, but I just feel as though in Europe, we play a little bit quicker, and I think like Ronny said, teams don't press you as much, so he's got a little bit more space. And I don't know, I feel as though the whole team is totally different in Europe.
This is supposed to be a positive section, by the way.
No, it is. Yeah, no, but again, Ped, you're getting to the source of the problem. And I still think, again, he bullies fellas, and I'll name one which I never thought I'd bring up, but it's a match. Victor Arichibi. In Europe, he bullied them. You can go back to Nuremberg, you can go all the time. Gets in the Premier League. I mean, he had the trap that the next one was a tackle. You know, now you've got Romelu, who again 5 goals. Do us a favour in 2 games. You know, when's the next game? Who are we playing against? But he's not bullying teams, and that's the problem. And again, we know it's not easy. We're all made differently. But wait, if you've got you know a Duncan Ferguson there, we'd have won yesterday. And that's what I'm saying to you. Over is the manager confidence in the ability. You know, for us to go there and win, I don't know, because the team he picked, I'd have played Gibson and I'd have gone with Lennon. And it's positive. You know, we went to Arsenal last season, and you know we had a great season last season, obviously, but we were positive. We played with wit. We had pace, obviously, with Delafeu. But Lennon can catch pigeons. Now again, if he's got him here, play him, and then we can go on about Kone and all these players. You know, there's enough in the squad for me. But again, it's a manager who's got to come out and say, look, instead of just stopping teams playing, we're Everton Football Club, we've got quality at this place, let's go out and start winning games and not worry about first 20 minutes, half an hour, let's stop them playing. And as I say, Arsenal were poor yesterday. I think Arsenal were very good yesterday, and they would come off a real poor performance against Monaco, but we should have capitalised on that, and I don't think we did.
Come back to Thursday, there's a couple of really good performances. Thought Luke Garbutt was excellent, and Darren Gibson I thought was brilliant as well. I mean, we've championed Darren for a while, haven't we? He's just one of those players that you can't really help out his injuries, and I've always said if he didn't have them injuries, I think he'd still beat United, because I do think he's that good. But they're positive, aren't they, for the rest of the season, because we've said, you know, loads of times, especially the left back position, if Baines is not fit, he doesn't play, you know, and that was obvious against Leicester, he wasn't fit, so it was nice to see Garbutt come in, and obviously there's lots of talk about his contract. Again, it's a negative undermining a positive, but I thought those 2 lads done really, really well.
Well, yeah, there is. I mean, there's a lot of positive looking right through the squad, because we've got a lot of good players. I mean, this squad, if you look at it player for player, it's as good as I've seen for years, but it's just not happening for it. But yeah, you say like Darren Gibson, he's been missing a long time. I think we sort of forgot what I did anyway. Forgot how good he actually was, because when he first came, he had that run in the team, didn't he, where we didn't lose, I think, every time he played. And you forget what a player he is, and he's the only one who looks like he's going to make something happen now. But it's almost game time you can give him, isn't it, before his knee explodes or something? Because I mean, it was terrible what he said the other day. There was an interview with him, and he was asked, you know, what targets have you got? And he's like, I don't set targets now. I just want to play as many games, and that's heartbreaking to hear that. No player at 27 with his ability.
He's the only player, when he played again, he come on against Leicester, didn't he, for the last half an hour, and it was the first time one of our midfield players knew how to pass it forward. And he just carried that on against young boys.
I think you need to sigh out the crowd. Like thinking, hang on, is a midfield player going to pass the ball forward?
I mean, the ball to Morales in Europe, he dropped the shoulder edge in the box.
Well, again, about, you know, it might be over fitness levels, but playing for the first hour and take him off. You know, let's get in a position where we're putting Arsenal under pressure. You can go on about Lukaku, disappointed in Morales' performance again yesterday. You know, if he wants to move and go to a better club, if I'm a scout in that stand, he won't get a better club than he's at now. So for those last 11 games, he should be going out and performing. But similar, you know, if you play Gibson, and we could have scored and whatever, and as the match goes on, then you can bring Lennon on, whoever. But I just thought we missed the trick, especially with their confidence being so low. And ourselves, we've got players there, you know, Gibson, Lennon, as I said, I'd have played the pair of them. But you know, it's having that confidence. And again, we've had decent results. We've drew a few against them down there. But honestly, every time I go down, everyone goes, Everton's in town, another hard game. And I'm thinking, this is Arsenal Football Club. You know, but if we don't play positively, they get an easy let off. And as I say, only for John Stones sleeping a bit and Giroud from a corner. And then we can go on about Luke Garbutt. I thought Luke played really well. I thought some of his crosses and set-piece plays, he's getting a delivery in where, you know, centre-forward should be finishing. So again, I don't think we capitalised on the corner kicks again. I think we could have done better, but the delivery was a lot better than
I think for me, and I said this last week, and I said it in the Echo as well, on when I was asked last week about the real gripe for me is players who are playing well don't keep the place if they're not. And Gibson's one. I mean, I moaned about Joel, fuming that Howard came back in when Joel was doing okay. You know, Garbutt's being a case in point. He came on in Bern when Oviedo went off, done great for half an hour. We have Leicester at home. Baines comes back in, who's not fit, rather than play Garbutt. Gibson plays against Burton the other night. Now, okay, he might be looking, thinking, we've got to manage his game time, but like you've just said, give him an hour. He's flying.
He's the only one though, Baz, again. You know, if you've got a much of a muchness in a midfield and you're all similar, you know, there's times down the years we've had maybe too many midfield players. You think, well, he's a bit different and all that. But he's one that he's different from the other three that played. And again, it's starving centre forwards or wide players of a pass. You know, Man United, you come up through the academy, one touch football, bang, you're in. The Morales one, I'd have played him just for that pass. You know, he's picked it up, seeing it, and he's in, ends up in a goal.
And wouldn't against Arsenal,
but again,
they're not going to press you the way teams do.
Exactly what you're saying. But what I'm saying is Wenger then thinks Gibson's playing. We've just seen him against them. And the crowd was eerie yesterday at Arsenal because they were more scared of us than the opposite way. Exactly.
And it wasn't full either.
So after 15 minutes, I'm thinking, this is what you do. The old quiet in the crowd, we've well done that. But the moans and groans started, and I thought, if we get a shot on target here, you'll hear them going. But it's just as if we were happy and content to get in at half time, 0-0, have we done a good job? We felt like saying, no, we've missed the trick. And that was the disappointment.
It's like our bottle goes, isn't it? It's like we've just got to sit there, right, we'll just ride the storm for a bit, even if there's no storm coming, and we'll just knock it about. Whereas in Europe, we just go for it.
Well, in Europe, I mean, another thing from Thursday is, and we've noticed both the young boys games, is the amount of crosses we were getting in the box against young boys, and the amount of forward passes, like we mentioned, and then there was lots of balls in front of Lukaku to run on to, and lots of crosses for him. Again, in the Premier League, those things just become non-existent. And you think, why are you changing again? This is the thing I can't get my head around. I know teams like young boys are not going to come and press, but for me, why not have the mentality for the first 20 minutes to go out there and say, like, we're going to put pressure on you and we're going to force you back. And in the Premier League, when we see last week against Leicester, first 20 minutes, we done nothing. So when we did score, Leicester went, we can still score goals here, these are not that good. And I don't understand why there's a difference. I know there might be a difference in quality.
But similar to what you're saying, but listening to Roberto, he's got confidence in all the players. Sings about Ross Barkley, he'll go on about McCarthy, he'll go on about... Then all of a sudden, as you've said, he'll change how we play. Now again, Bellini for them is a young kid who's just coming at right back, you know, decent player, but he's a young kid. So start pushing players onto him. Again, I don't think Gibbs is the best defender in the world. And you know, the way they played against Monaco, they were awful, absolutely awful. Well, go there and say, I think we're better than you. We went toe-to-toe with them last year and was so unlucky. You know, the times we sat there and we thought, you know what, one day we're going to get a bit of luck here. But as I say again, I just think we missed the trick, we really did, because, you know, if you look at the team sheet and they're saying Lukaku scored 5 in the last 2 games, and you know, they're worried. And if you got Gabriel at the back, you know, he must have a good voice. I used to like the songs he used to sing. But you know, you look at it and we keep saying about, you know, the team is low on confidence. Don't disappoint them. Let's go there and say, right, we're going to give you a go today, and I'm going to have a right go at you.
Do you think De La Feu gave us more than we realised last season? Because just thinking back to that Arsenal game, we battered them and then they got that goal, but then he had enough about him to go up and get that goal. We've not got anything dead unpredictable, have we?
I think like De La Feu, I mean, that Arsenal game last year when Otto scored, he scored after 83 minutes. I'm watching it, I thought, we won't lose this game because we were so... Yesterday we'd have just switched that, it would have been over, but I think what De La Feu gave us, which people don't really give him credit for, was he just hugged the touchline, he was pace, and he was just that output. And you could just
I keep saying, I know you've got to work hard, but I said up before to you off here, but you know, when you're saying about Ross, don't come back over the halfway line, mate. If you're playing wide, don't track back. Let the full-back worry about you. And Delafeu, it doesn't matter, again, you know, there was times when he strolled around a lot, but he's like a little kid, give him the ball, and he would only want to dribble, and he had the confidence, and I've said there's different braveries. There's a bravery when there's 40,000 that are having a go, give us the ball, and I'll take it on again, or I'll have a shot. You know, the shots for me are going out the game. What does Riziki do? First time he gets it, bang, deflection, ends up in the back of the net. So I think there's a lot that we can still do, but I just think, you know, the way the games are going, you know, how long is it going to take sort of the penny to drop to say, let's start putting teams under pressure and let them worry about us.
There's a selfishness about Delafeu though, wasn't there, as well? I always thought, because he's on loan, he didn't really look ever interested in actually being an Everton player. He just wanted to be a Barcelona player, and that sort of helped for me, because when he got those big opportunities, he normally took them.
But one on what Ronny said about Morales, it's like what you said about Morales. Delafeu was single-minded enough to say, I want to wear the Barca shirt, so I'm going to pull up trees as much as I can. I'm going to go and beat 5 men and have a shot. Or he didn't care. That's what Morales should be doing. If you want to move, make yourself in demand.
Totally right. But again, it's something where you know you talk a good game, but get out there and do it. And again with Delafeu, you're right. You know, there's times when he looks so lackadaisical, and you think, you know, what time's it? You know, I want to go home. But the next minute, it just come alive. And again, it's like when you switch off a fullback, do you think, oh, this fella has run all day. You give him the ball and he's gone. And the thing with it again, he had pace. And that's what I'm saying about Lennon. You know, we're not blessed with pace throughout the team, but that's where you've got to capitalise. And again, yesterday, you know, that's one thing. I mean, all right, as you said over Delafeu, I mean, he got loaned out again. You know, he thought he would be in Barcelona's team. But, you know, he had a lot to learn. But I think he made the mark here and left it. What we're lacking this season.
Oh, definitely.
I think he left the kind of mark that obviously Martinez is trying to replace, though, isn't he? Because going for something like Lennon is just basically carbon copy, isn't it? Without that,
you've got to play Lennon now. You've got to play him.
But yeah, Ped, I'll say to you, you know, if I offered you to go over and play against the team across the park, you know, he's an ex-Tottenham player. He got booed, and he nearly scored after 2 minutes. Now, when you've got Seamus pushing forward, I ended up giving Seamus man of the match yesterday. What a lovely cutback. But if he was on for 90 minutes, you're thinking these two are quick. Ozil is lazy. He's not quick anyway, but he doesn't like chasing back. And I thought, well, you know, that's again having a bravery from the manager to say, well, look, I'm going to play them two on the right-hand side, and we're going to have a go at you today.
I think for me, if we're just going to go straight into this Arsenal thing, and I know you, in terms of the Premier League, I think why we're suited in Europe because basically we play so narrow, so we can swarm teams with this nice little. How many times you see me and you just knocking it back and forth, going nowhere. And Premier League teams will pressure. And I think the big thing that David Moyes built at Everton, we had probably the best in his last season. We had the best left side and the best right side. We had Pienaar and Baines. On that left-hand side, we had Coleman and Morales, who was playing really well in Moyes' last season on that right-hand side, and we stretched teams with the width. And all Moyes' team were crying out for was probably Romelu Lukaku and maybe a McCarthy. If you could have had Moyes with that team, threw McCarthy in the middle of the park there, instead, because we had Osman and Neville at times, if you'd have had maybe Barry and McCarthy with Lukaku in that Moyes side, we'd have been for me,
well,
dangerous.
As you just said, you could have had that yesterday. You could have played Morales on the left and you got Lennon on the right. But again, it's picking a team where instead of playing 3 midfield players and you think, what we have, we hold. You say, no, this is Arsenal. You know, let's go out.
Going back to what you were saying there, I've said this recently, Ronny, to be honest, I can't underestimate how much we miss Steven Pienaar. I just think we miss him so much, and I know we're probably never going to get that back again. I think he's obviously gone now by the looks of it, but he's never tried to replace him, and I can't understand that, because when you look at the Everton side, you look at the team yesterday, we're trying to shoehorn Naismith and Barkley into the team, and we're not getting the best out of either of them when we do that. And you go back to Thursday, and you look at Naismith playing up front with Lukaku. Well, when he played up front, they won the penalty between them because they were close. Last week, when he pushed them further up front against Leicester, he scored straight away off there, a little bit of interplay. And yesterday, Ross was trying to play on the left and play in the centre, so you're not getting nothing out of Ross. And Naismith's trying, when Naismith plays in there, he's trying to do that as well. And
I'll ask you then, do you think Roberto knows his best formation and his best team?
I think he knows his best 11 players, but he doesn't know how to fit them into a side. That's the problem, exactly. And that's why I can't understand why he hasn't tried to do something with the left-hand side. And what makes it even worse, and we've spoken about this, isn't it? We've got Garbutt, we've got Baines, and we've got Oviedo. And surely out of those 3 players, you could form a left-back and a left midfielder.
Play 2 off the 3, don't you? Any time.
Because you want natural width. The Premier League, people will run around for you all day. We don't do it, by the way, but other teams will do it, which is why when teams with lesser ability come here, they just go, right, break us down. And we can't break them down because everything's narrow. Whereas what I want to see him do is I want to see 2 wide players and I want to see someone with Rom. I want to see Coney with Rom. I want Rom running the other way. So what I want to see is the ball knocked in. Coney will keep it all day. We've seen that when he come on the other night. He'll have people all over his back. It's killed. He can lay it in and Lukaku. Let's start putting the onus on other teams defending. Be quick out the blocks.
Well, where we've got Stoke, as you've said, I mean, I'd always play Naismith. You know, I think Ped's just said that first time he gets in the air, he scores a goal. He's wasted. You know, Ross is wasted on the left. You know, I wouldn't attempt to put him there. And same with Naismith. You get up front. That's why he's been so good, and he's turned his career around. You know, the character of the lad is fantastic. But when's Coney ever going to get in the team? You know, you're looking at it.
Or just on.
Well, again,
yesterday,
again, it's going back.
And you're thinking,
last half hour, last 20 minutes, let's have a go, throw the kitchen sink at them. And again, as soon as you throw 2 up top, they've got to change it. And what are they going to do, you think? Here we go. But, you know, to get something out of it, and that's where you put a doubt in the managers and their players' minds. But I just think, with the Coney one, it's going to be a waste. I mean, I know he's been out a long time, but he's not match fit. You know, you keep putting him on the bench. You know, he'll train all week, and then you think, well, say for instance the Stoke game, ideal for him to play.
Oh God.
You know, even defensively, you're thinking we'll get bombarded tomorrow. I'll guarantee it'll rain, it'll be windy, and then you're thinking, here we go, crash helmets on. You've got to have a bit.
Love that against York.
Well, of course he will. Well, he thrives on that. But again, when is he ever going to do it, Baz? I mean, that's what I'm saying. You can't keep going through the season and say, well, look, we'll get through the end of the season, and next season you'll see the best of Coney.
You come through.
You want to see now?
First of all, the 2 things about Coney. First of all, I've heard more praise about him when the kid was in the changing room injured, when he couldn't even play. Martinez, every single interview. Aruna, when we get Aruna back, well, he's back and he never played.
It does that with that too, no?
So that's a waste of time. But you come through at a time, and it was obviously being a winger yourself, fast winger, great delivery. But you played in a side that was 4-4-2, and this it's for me now, the way football's going, it's like Emperor's new clothes. Let's play 1 up front. Let's play 2 midfielder. Football matches are about goals. It's about goals, and the best sides have more than one centre forward.
Yeah, but it's managers being cuter than coaches, where they think as it's progressing. You know, the old adage is for years. You know, Dixie's Dean 60 goals. You know, he was getting crosses in all day long, and as you said. That's goals. Get the crossing. You know, that's why we're Evertonians. You know, with centre forwards or wingers. But if you're starved of it, it's never going to happen. And my big thing again, I don't want to be talking doom and gloom, but you know, the end of the season, we've got to do well to keep your John Stones and all these, because I'll tell you now, you'll get big clubs, Colin, McCarthy, John Stones, you know, Seamus Coleman and all that. So we've got to be really positive till the end of the season anyway. But I just think all the time, we're talking about this, and it just seems it's happening too often. And then when you get a good result in Europe, you think, I can't wait for the next game, it's going to happen. And then you watch it. I got a text message, it's boring watching Everton now. And that for me is, well, it's not a scandal, but, you know, if we did drew, you could sort of accept it. But we've gone there as if to say, well, not got out of jail, but we only got beat 2-0. It was Arsenal. You know, at the Emirates, it's always hard to go to. You feel like saying, they were poor. You know, Monaco showed you how to play against them. You know, a bit of art and passion, and then hit them on the break or whatever.
Up, Monaco.
But you wonder why
they stuck 2 up. They had a kid who was a flyer, and they had another.
Yeah, but I tell you now, did you think they'd play that way? Because Wenger didn't, and Arsenal did. But next minute, you're 1-0 down, 2-0 down, you think, what's going on here? We're Arsenal. You're not supposed to do that.
But Leicester turned up for us. I said this last week, didn't I, before Leicester come to town, bottom of the league, right, and they'd have gone, West Brom come here the other week. Over the ball, 10 men behind the ball, Everton didn't have a clue. What a better way to put your team cheating. At 1 o'clock, we kicked off at 2. And Coney and Lukaku up front, they'd have been going.
With 2 wingers.
2 up front, Morales and Lennon either side. This
But
is
what
how
you've-
we've set up.
what
Next
you've-
minute, they're on the back foot.
But once they've practiced all week, that goes right out the window. And
Exactly.
then straight away the crowd go, I'll have a bit of that.
We've got
And as
two
soon as the
forwards,
whistle
two
goes, you
wingers.
go, here we go.
Because we've got...
But you're sending a message out to everybody,
You know, if
the
he's
crowd,
worried-
you know, the other team, to say, well, you might have practiced where you're going to sit behind the ball, but we're going to have a right go at you.
We mentioned on something there, as you know, like we're talking about subs and stuff. Last season, the first Merseyside derby was probably the first one when he had to make the sub for Baines and he brought Barkley on. And that's another thing we don't see this season. It's the subs. Yeah, it's the subs, isn't it? Yeah, it's the subs. You know,
was all going right, wasn't
it? Was all, he was bringing
Timing
adventurous players on at the right times. I mean, you look at this season, you know, Southampton didn't bring one sub on.
That was
you know,
unreal,
things
wasn't
like that. Yesterday, we're all saying...
I think it was more disappointed with the comment, what he said at the end. I think he got asked the question, why do you make substitutions? He said, I don't think it would have changed the game.
Yeah.
You know, we got beat 3-0.
Yeah.
But yesterday,
you know.
yesterday sitting here watching it 1-0 down, thinking, throw Kone on, let's have a go. And he doesn't.
I
He
think-
just moves the furniture down, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think Kone's done enough. We've only probably seen him play about, 90 minutes all season collectively. I think he's done enough to show that he can give us something different. And we need to do something
I
different.
was sitting there the other night and again, you know, we come on and he had a couple of chances, he wasn't great, but I want to see him play with Ron.
Yeah.
Him holding the ball up and Ron playing off him.
Yeah.
Because I think that would work. Because Kone, it sticks. He's an old kind of centre forward, back to goal centre forward.
Do you know,
it sticks.
He finished John Isaac his career at Everton. I watched him in 2 games. He bullied him, and especially at Wigan. He got took off Isaac at half time. He absolutely was like a youth player against. It was like Costa against a youth player. And I thought, this fella. And when he signed here, I was more pleased than anyone. I thought he's hold up play. He can head a ball. He can shoot. He can score. He's got everything. But again, when is he ever going to get a look in? And the thing about it, if he's not getting a look in now with 1 win in 11 games, when is he ever going to
It's
play?
like the other worry you mentioned before, you're saying, well, yesterday we would have won, we'd had a Duncan Ferguson. Is it the fact that we haven't got a Duncan Ferguson on the bench? And what I mean by that is, we've got Atsu, Morales and Lennon, so the 3 wingers who play the same way, and then we've got Lukaku, and we've got another centre forward who doesn't use. We haven't got any other kinds of players. I think that's a bit of a worry as well, that there's no variation in the way we play.
Well, again, it's going back to, you know, when you're not playing at your best. You know, you're not going to play fantastic all the way through the season, but we can name, you know, from Swansea, Hull, West Brom, Leicester. You know, there's 8 points gone at home against teams that shouldn't even be on the same park as us. You know, quality-wise as well as, you know, the way we played last year anyway. But again, it's positive again off the manager to give them a free rein and say, look, forget about stopping teams playing. Let them worry about us and let's have a go. And similarly, you can go through all the stats in the world of our possession. I think at one period in the first 20 minutes yesterday, we had 71% of the ball. Well, that's not a good thing for me. 71%, we should be 3-0 up. You know, the ones I want is how many's in the back of the net, and then we had 2 shots the whole 90 minutes. And, you know, this Arsenal is not the Arsenal it used to be. They're going to struggle for 4th. Monaco will beat them to be out of the Champions League. And, you know, again, it's you know, for me, one of the best times we could have won there.
Definitely. I said about moving the furniture around, though. It's like we have got these players who are all dead similar. And it's the football philosophy thing that does my head in. It's like, I've got this way of playing and I've got these players and that's just what we're going to do and that's it and there's no change. It's not a particularly complicated game, but it's getting dead complicated.
Well, if we go back to when we got West Ham in the Cup, there was all this chatter, you know, there's been team meetings and we're changing the way we play, and it happened for a couple of games, but we've gone back to type and we've looked better, but for me, that's only because we've got McCarthy back and John Stones back. We haven't actually changed anything.
Well, again, Ped, we were down to 10 men at West Ham, so you've got to have a go. You've got to work a bit harder. But, you know, we did have a go, and as you've said, you know, the way we played against West Ham, who were in good form at the time, you know, I'm very unlucky, obviously, to get beaten penalties. But then you think you'll take that in the next game and think, lads, you know, we're down to 10 men, you play fabulous there, they're a form team. Next game, we're going to play this way. And I think what you said, Les, before, Roberto loves playing a certain way. And Wenger does. But Wenger hasn't won the league. They should have won the league a couple of times at least, you know, the last few years with the resources they've got, the quality of the stadium. But when you get a mindset of this is how I'm going to play and I want to score the perfect goal, because a few times yesterday Arsenal overpassed and should have got a shot away. And I think similar to ourselves, we've got to, you know, different teams that you play against, like the Wednesday and a few others, we've got to change from just keeping possession of the ball for keeping possession's sake.
The other thing as well, one of the things does my head in is, you know, you play the game and everything, it's cuteness, isn't it? Coleman first got 0-0, the game's quite flat. We're probably in control of the game in terms of we've got more of the ball, neither team's really doing anything. Wins the ball off Sanchez brilliantly in the corner, just empty it. Just empty it with your left foot, get reset, and he doesn't. He tries to shepherd it to play. Arsenal pinch it.
That's when he won back.
Cross comes in, corner. They come in. John Stones is messing with his socks.
Yeah.
Let's get a yard.
As you said, you know, Shane was great going forward, obviously, but I mean, you're a defend, Rosehead.
Yeah.
You know, he's done great. I mean, I thought he handled Sanchez fantastic.
Oh, he did
one of the best I've seen, because he's quality, that lad. But as you say, because he's won him, and he tried to nutmeg Shane, and Shane just thought, hang on, you know, I'm a bit of a class act, I'll show you. But as you say, you know, it's a mindset where you
that comes
defend.
from the manager, doesn't it, Ron? Because we've seen that so much. We've seen that from John Stones all the time. And
that's right, totally right.
We want him to play like that, but it's the time. I mean, we watched John Stones last week against Young Boys in the away game, and he got caught a couple of times first half, and you think, right, that's your warning, that's your learn the lesson while you're playing. Second half, loses the ball, gives a penalty away, and he's suspended.
But I don't think how you can say when you go out, we know, like, he likes to roll the ball to full backs. We all love to play. We all love to play the Ajax way, the way, you know, we can go on about the Dutch team and all that. But, you know, you've got to play it long now and again. One of the best goals we've seen was a Lukaku flick on when Morales scored. Now, that's quality football. But I don't know whether Roberto thinks it was, because it's gone more than 30 yards to pass. But it's ended up in the back of the net. And again, it's going back to don't be predictable. And that's the word I was going to use myself. Unpredictability is what you've got to do against any team.
The other one as well is, and Luke Garber playing yesterday, his set pieces are fantastic. They are fantastic.
He had one in particular where it went right on the edge of the 6-yard box and no one went for it. We don't win it.
The three he done in the first half against Young Boys was the same. But it was similar yesterday. As you said, I think Bellini done a fabulous header. He got him between two people, but we go on about, you know, the likes of Lukaku, which we said about bullying teams and all that. You get a delivery like that. You know, Baines hasn't been the best. This is why I go on, you know, I'm not massive for stats, but I think if you look at the end of the season, how many corner kicks we actually have, and we score from. Arsenal never score from corners, but they did yesterday. So it's either Roberto, do they practice it and all that, or the delivery's good. You need people to attack it, but it's going back to the Andy Hinchcliffe gaze with Duncan. But if you get John Stones up, Jagielka, McCarthy, and then you've got Lukaku, you think, hang on, I can hit different people. It's not just Lukaku. It's designed to finish.
As that showed yesterday, that can win you a game of football, can't it? One set piece, Arsenal not renowned for it. But it's not a real goal. The talk is that he doesn't like it. The talk is he doesn't think it's
well, I can't get my head around it. I am totally baffled. But I think the goal changed from ums and ahs and a few boos. That they won the corner and it's volleyed in, and it changes the complexion of the whole team talk at half time. You know, they'll go in and say, look, we're 1-0 up, this is fantastic, but you know, as I say, if you work hard enough to win a corner and a free kick, make the most of it. And we had a lot. I mean, was it 11 or?
You know, it's not cheating. It's part of the game. But you know, I think was it in Leon Osman's book, and he said we don't practice set pieces.
Because what he said was, why practice? Why spend ages on something you might only get one or two off? He calls
we got 11. So see, again, we all know he's intelligent, but I don't think I'm stupid myself, to be quite honest. But you look at corner kicks, go back to the Duncan with Hinchcliffe, go back to other teams you can mention. It's a great thing to work at. And again, all you do is why do it? You know, if we win a corner kick it out for a goal kick, then let's all go back the halfway line.
It can take a lot of pressure off as well. If you're getting battered and you suddenly go up the other end, get a corner, and you score that one goal off that.
But again, as you can play awful for 90 minutes, get one corner, you score off, and you're getting them back on the bus 1-0. So it's a ridiculous statement. You ask Jose Mourinho, who they're going to win the league, obviously, they'll have a great chance. He's already got one cut. You ask him about corner kicks. With Cahill, how many scores? John Terry scored again yesterday, and Ivanovic. It's silly. It's a really silly statement.
I think he proved himself yesterday when he showed you don't turn up for cup finals to play them, you turn up cup finals to win them, and that's the mentality, isn't it?
For me, you may as well play a short corner every time, and if he doesn't want to throw it in and win the header, then you may as well just play short. And we get corners. Liverpool last year nearly won the title. They had a fantastic season playing nice fast football, scored more set pieces than any other team. And that's someone who shares that kind of philosophy.
Going back to them as well, they attacked teams last season. They just went first 20, they just go for it.
The leg game, how many games they had 1.5-3 last year? It was over 3.
And that's what we need to do, but we're just...
Well, that goes back to, this time last year, Ron, we were just about to hit the 7 in a row. And for me, every one of those games, we set out to win. And at the moment, I feel like we're setting out not to lose. And that's the irony, because apparently that's the Moyes. That was the Moyes thing, right? And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like with Martinez at the moment, that we're going out to draw games. I mean, it's funny because Southampton have only lost 2 more games than us. And look where they are, because we're drawing so many and we're losing. Is it time we just let the shackles off and say, like, if you're going to do it, you've got to start doing it now? Obviously, we've got Stoke, tough game. Then we've got, the likes of Newcastle and QPR, who I expect 6 points of. Because if we don't get 6 points, then we really are in the mixer. As you just got to say, right, go out and get these games won and take risks, take chances. And obviously, how he sets out's got to be with taking risks.
Well, I brought Moyes' name up, and when you think the first time he come to the club, 3 up top, all positive substitutions, you said have goals at teams, and that's what you're thinking of. But what I said before about the second year syndrome for a manager, he's getting too negative and too cautious, and then teams know it. So straight away, all the scouts that come up the stairs when they've just watched the game, they've done the reports. Leicester, it must have been delighted where they think they'll just play exactly the same again, and that's the disappointing thing, where you're not sort of, with all the pro zone and all this that they've got now, everything should be right, but you look at certain things where I don't think he's stubborn might be too strong a word. Wenger was similar. Don't tell me how to play. I know because I'm the manager. But a little bit of advice and a little bit, well, don't you think you should change it or tweak it a little bit? But again, I'll go back to, whatever the football club, do us a favour. We've had too many draws, far too many draws. But I just think the way we had it last season, that momentum's gone. And I think we've gone back to, don't lose games, which for me, especially with the way we played last season. And I think it's not great to watch. And
it's become mature, Ron.
Well, I think what it does as well, Peds, it makes it easier for the opposing team. Because, teams must go, hang on, we've got Everton to play next week. Well, they won't have a go at us. They'll sit for whatever. We've got, as you've mentioned over QPR, that's no gimme. You've got Ramsey who's just took over. They're singing everything about him. He's a good coach, but he must be saying similar to them. Austin is there. That's going to be difficult. So you can't pick and choose what points we are. I think certain things you'll go, well, we've got to target them. But I just think massive game Wednesday again. But we keep saying this now. Every other game's going to be.
For me, that's the thing. I was bored yesterday, but even though we were very much in the game and I had the ball, it was boring to watch. It's slow and slow. And I think you said before, we're just so predictable. Everybody knows we won't change. I can tell you now that we'll play 4-3-3 against Newcastle here, and we won't have had a shot in the opening 20 minutes because it'll be we'll have had 400 passes, by the way, but we won't have gone over the halfway line because I seen an interview we done on Saturday and it worried me, to be honest with you, because he was kind of saying, this is the way we play, we're never going to change, so don't tell me how to change my philosophy because that's it. And he went on about parasite football and pinching goals off corners isn't real football and not knowing how to win games, and that worries me because I think to be it, I'm just saying the things that have made me question some things is that he talks about flexibility, and for me he's the most inflexible manager in the Premier League.
Totally agree with it. And again, it's a statement which is ridiculous. You sort of look at the way we've sort of played and what we're going to do, and as you've just said, then we can see it. But you think, well, they'll think that, and as we said before, they've practiced all week, we're going to play a certain way. Let's surprise them, play 2 up top, let's have a go. And as I say, this place will be bouncing against Newcastle if he's done it that way. You think, have I? And the sad thing about it, you know, well, you all know what a following we've got.
Yeah.
You know, that should be the 12th man.
And the thing about it is, Stoke, right? You can write the script now, can't you? Peter Crouch off a corner, because that's what's going to happen, isn't it? Because we all know and it's not like. It's football. We know.
Yeah, but that doesn't count, Roberto.
No, but that doesn't count.
They scored off a corner. Yeah, we done well there.
That's how football works, though, isn't it? You know, either Crouch or Walters.
But Dale, why? Because Dale play to their strengths.
Exactly.
They know
that's what I'm saying.
what works.
That's what I'm saying.
We forgot what works.
Bully us.
Sorry, do you think his bottle went at the start of the season? You know, we were saying before, like, we still were starting to hang over from those 2-2 draws at the start of the season. I don't think it's the team. I think it's Martinez. I think his bottle went. And then, especially against Chelsea, because we went out to try and, like...
You know what, right, I was talking about this the other day, and this again, it seems like I'm talking about Liverpool, but I've got a couple of really good mates, and when they had Julia years ago, when they started off flying Liverpool, and they had a couple of games, they were really good at that time. I can't believe I'm saying it. But they started the season, they were flying, and they had 2 games on the run at home at Anfield. They played Leicester with 2-0 up with 10 minutes left and 2-2-2, and they played Newcastle at home with 2-0 up and 2-2-2 at Anfield. And from that day, he changed the whole formation. He went to 1 up front, and I think they'd been 11 points clear, or they were right at the top, and they had that second draw, and the arse fell out of him nearly, and they changed the way they play, and he just fell down the league. And I think you're right. I think he's done it. The Leicester game you were at, Wayne, the first game of the season, was one of the easiest away games I've ever seen. Everton were just walking. They were grim. Yeah. And they get a goal from nowhere. Yeah. Arsenal here was probably, apart from Villa, our best performance at home. We destroyed them that day. We were Naismith trying to chip the keeper with 10 minutes left instead of just lasting it in. Lukaku's doing 85 step overs and all that. We were cruising, and they go bang bang, and it's 2-2. And then Chelsea come here and destroy us. And then you although even Chelsea game, we were 64% possession, 19 shots to 8 and things like that. After that,
didn't they score 5?
They scored 6 out the 8.
Well, yeah. My memory's going.
After that, we've just gone the other way. Palace come here and nicked it, and then he's kind of gone, and we've gone further and further back. And the wheels, since Christmas, the wheels have fell off.
No, but that's what I'm saying about the second year. He's learning, but is he learning?
Yeah,
it's just saying the same old same old.
But it's a 6th Premier League season, isn't it?
Yeah, but he should take things off. I'm not saying go out every week and go toe-to-toe with Chelsea or whoever. No. But he's got to be flexible and again with certain players, certain formations. But the majority of the season, he should be going out being positive.
But if
we've got 40,000, 40,000. But you know, Les might be right. Where you know, again, the easy way, and it doesn't matter what you're in, you'll go back to the tried and trusted. You'll say, get bodies behind the ball. Let's make it difficult. Pick a couple of 0-0s up. Points on the board, and then we'll start being a bit more expansive.
Well, I'll tell you,
exactly.
4 games.
But he seems to be, you know, as I said with the interviews, I listen to all his interviews, and you know, you listen or you know, read things in the paper.
I honestly don't listen anymore.
Well, it's the same, though, Ped. It's the same, and again, you're thinking, are you watching the same game as us, Roberto? And again, you know, we wanted them to do well, but you just think to yourself, we can see it. Why can't you see it? And it's all right saying nice things about people all the time. But rattling a few cages, it helps.
Well, it shows the fans as well.
Big worry for me is if I was an outsider looking in, just at general football. If someone had just introduced me to football, and you went, well, here's a manager who 2 seasons ago had a run to an FA Cup final, but in the meantime got relegated. Now the same manager's at another club. He's on near enough the same points, and he's having a decent run in the Europa League. I'd look at that manager, I'd think, nah. You know what I mean? Okay, we sit here and we know the ins and outs of him. We've seen what he'll see. But if I was an outsider, I'd go, he's not a very good manager. Because that's what he can't juggle the 2 things at once, and that's what would immediately worry me if I was an outsider looking in.
Me and you you obviously present the Blue Room on Radio City, and I was on it a couple of years ago when we were getting Roberto Martinez, and one thing I said about him was the concern I had was 4 years at Wigan. He didn't know how to correct that defence. They conceded 275 goals.
Dropped, didn't he?
And it worried me. It worried me because I was thinking, well, 1 out of 4, you'd go back to basics and say, like, this season, we're not conceding. We're going to, you know, we'll tighten it up and we'll see what we get. And it didn't. But obviously he came in and he was fabulous last year. And I thought, you know what, I've got him wrong. He's just better players. Playing were fantastic. The worry for me now is the stubbornness that seems to be going with it. not dropping players when they deserve. Every player needs to know that you've got to. This is Everton. Yeah. If you're not pulling your tripod wrong, you're sitting with me on the bench because Les is getting in. Or you might have been playing anyway, by the way. But but
I just run around.
If you know you're playing every week and you get a calf injury and you're out for 2 weeks, the lad gets in flying the left winger. You're coming back to fitness. You should be thinking, I need to win.
But you're right, but that's going back to the complacency thing. And I still think Roberto's got at least 9, 10 knock on every week. They'll play.
But should he have that?
No, he shouldn't have that. No way in a million years.
You were a youth coach. What if half of your team?
Well, I used to say it doesn't matter who you are. If you're playing for me, you're in. End of story.
And if you play well,
we always used to say about a tap. You can turn a tap on to get the water, but you can't with your ability and your form. If you're playing well, you're in and do it. Now Luke Garbutt's done nothing wrong. I thought he's played against a quality player yesterday. You've got Oxlade-Chamberlain going there. You've got Sanchez switched it. His delivery was fantastic. That kid's getting better and better.
Should be in.
Now the thing with that, if Bainesy was fit, would he be straight back in? Yeah. But you send the wrong message out to everyone. But as I go back to Coney, if Lukaku's not doing it, get him off. If he's not doing the game, get Coney on.
But give him.
And if you don't see them, when are you ever going to come to a decision where you say, I don't think Coney's up for it, or I don't think Lennon's good, Because don't forget, Lennon's playing for the contract. And we're saying to him, we'll do it, but he's not playing him. He brings him on, as I say, last 10 minutes, best chance, and he was unlucky not to get on the score sheet.
We spoke to David Unsworth last week, didn't we, which is coming soon, and he said to us, his very words were, there should be pressure on everyone. This is Everton Football Club. There should be pressure, and that's what there doesn't seem to be enough pressure on certain players. Every player. The biggest thing was yesterday I was following the game, watching the game, looking at Twitter, and when Barry went off, I tweeted, what's going on? He's so Barry.
Well, they said on the telly, didn't you think John Stones is going to come off?
Yeah.
And I was like, you can't do that. If Barry stays on, Stones comes off, that's just weird.
I think they check with the fourth official. They have the right number there. They go, no, it is Barry. Barry is coming.
But there are certain players, no matter what, who play every week, no matter what. Yeah. And, we go back again, Leicester last week, you think, he didn't need 3 old and centre, or 2 old and centre midfielders. No. And that's where we've got to start.
No, but again, it sends a wrong message. We keep saying about, when you look at the team sheet, you're all a bit nervous. I'm on it today. I'm a player. But the other team look at it and you go, is Ped and Baz playing today? And you think, well, they can play a bit. And then you look at it and you go, no. Yeah. So they go, tell you what, today we'll have it.
They
so
Leicester.
But it's sort of again in a way where if you're playing well, playing the team.
I had a few tweets here, I'll just rattle a couple of these off. At @pink_ribbon01. How can we go from playing 5-star football on a Thursday to mistakes and no passing in the Premier League? That's for you.
No, but again, I think the style of play that we're playing, I mean, individual errors you can't, sort of cut out. But I just think there's times from the way Roberto wants to play, it's conducive to good football playing in Europe. And I think when we come back to playing the Premier League, totally different ball game. You get fellas fighting for a ball, not just in the penalty, and on the halfway line. You've seen yesterday when Coquelin, broke his nose and then he gets it. Europe's totally different, and I think that's the thing where we've got to have it not just on Wednesday from now to the end of the season. A lot of passion. Let's see what lads are going to do, and if someone's fouled, running over, which Stoke will be doing, they'll be down the referees here. But we've got to show a lot more, and I think that's the difference from the two leagues.
Jen, it's Evertonian Jen, if you're watching, it's that 3v.
Threes instead of E's.
Yeah, and all that. She said if the players had more freedom on the pitch, they play better. This season has been more about possession and scoring goals. That fair, lads?
I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, we've won the passing every week.
Yeah, we're boss on.
Alan said that.
We won it yesterday as well.
If you had goals for passing, we'd be talking.
Well, let me just throw a quick stat in there to you. I looked at the passing yesterday. It's on one of these Opta stat things. I think it was about the top 6, and we were probably it's combinations. Top 6. We had one combination in there. Arsenal had the other 5. All theirs were forward. A defensive player or a midfielder to a forward or a so it's all forward. Ours was Stone to Jags or Jags to Stones, and I think that tells you everything you need to know about how we win possession every week.
Yeah.
Side to side. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't count that. I think the last time I was on, I said about the Butch Wilkins syndrome. Now the younger viewers don't know it. his nickname was the Crab, because again it was pass it sideways, back to the full-back, give us it back, knock it back to the full-back, do that all day long. But the old thing, you know, that's where stats do lie. I'd do it a forward pass, and a pass over 10 or 20 yards. So if you're prepared to take a chance, which Gibson does, and say, here's a 20, 30, 40 yarder, that's a pass for me. But the other one is a little easy option. It's wrong, and as I said before, 71% first 20 minutes.
Let me ask you this one then. This is not, it's about a different thing, but a manager's role's overstated, and what I mean by that is, you know, when you were a player, you've done it, you played at the highest level. When you pull that shirt on, you know, it doesn't matter if you don't like Les as the manager. When you cross that white line with the shirt on, you're doing it for yourself. Yeah, so, are the players? I personally think Roberto's 50% to blame, and the players are 50% culpable, because they're missing chances. They're not putting tackles in. They're not working as hard as they should.
Well, I think in the way the game's changed, I think because they're multi-millionaires now, you know, it's do we need to be doing this, and do you need to have a pop at him? But I'll put it down. As soon as you put that blue shirt on, it's a pride in yourself. You know, for your family, whoever you're doing, and a fella where you want to play for Everton Football Club. Now, it might be a cliche, but that's the way I used to think, and I think the majority of lads that I've played with at the club are similar. When I was youth coach, I instilled it into all them, so you can go from Michael Ball, Richard Dunn, Danny Cadamatri, all through them. I still keep in touch with Cad, exactly the same. And that's what we've got to do now. If we've got enough of it, don't think so. And as you said, it's going back to the manager. Now, we're not just saying, you know, Roberto from one season to the next, he was great last season, he's an awful manager. What we're saying, you've got to be flexible, and same with the players. If I say something to you, it doesn't mean I hate you and I don't like you, and you won't get us a drink in a minute. But you're sort of looking at where I'm trying to say, no, Baz, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to do, you know, it's not malicious things what I'm trying to say. It's just that we can help, and that's what we need. And I'll go back to, we used to have meetings on a Monday. Frightening, you know, if you had a bad result, but you got it out in the open, you said what you thought, and about I'm not getting a pass or a sensible to say, well, how many crosses have you got in? Defenders, how many headers have you won this week? That's not being bad. That is the norm, and that should happen. Now again, Roberto's style of management might be conducive to that, but I think it should be. There should be a few home truths and saying, well, look, the stats, if you want to look at 1 win in 11, what are we doing wrong?
That's it. I mean, completely different level, but I still play Sunday League amazingly, even at my age. And you know, I'm the most experienced player there. I'm playing kids who are 10 years younger than me.
You play with under 10s.
Under 10s.
But you should
don't say that.
You should be you know, you should be star man, shouldn't you?
Playing with kids who are 10 years younger than me, and at times I will give them a right bollocking on the pitch. I will tell them, and I'll make them look like absolute idiots in front of the people. But if I think I need to do that, I'll do that, and they'll have a good moan back at me because they're younger than me and they think they're great, and they're not. I'm still better than all of them. But the point is, I'll go off at half time and the manager will come up to me and go, keep doing that. Yeah. Keep doing that. Keep up them on the toes, because they keep switching off, or they keep thinking they're better than they are. Keep having a go at them. I moaned for 90 minutes.
No, but again, you know, fellas have made careers out of shouting. Yeah. You know, Vinnie Jones wasn't a very good player, but he used to rattle cages, you know, horrible and say to things. But again, in your way, you're trying to, you know, help them, but encourage them. But again, the fella, you know, if you have a pop at Les, then Les is going to go, well, I'll show you.
But also,
and that's all you're trying to do. So as a team, you're pulling together.
Where are our captains on the pitch?
Well, I don't think we've got enough.
There's a kick-off.
I really don't.
Something kicks off. Yeah. People are just kind of standing around going, do you want to get involved?
It might be the way that you want to, but I think we're too nice, to be honest with you. And again, it's lovely being a nice person off the pitch, but on it you might have to dig in.
This is what worries me though.
And not be the nice person.
This is what worries me about the rest of the season, is I look at all these other teams and I look at them and I go, you look at teams like QPR, or like they're full of prima donna, you know, Premier League play, but they've got a few players who've been around that championship, and they don't want to go back. The contract relies on it. Yeah. You can tell that. You look at a few. You look
they
at,
went down,
you know, players used to play for Tranmere and all kind, you know, and you think they don't want to go back down. So when, you know, push comes to shove, a few of them will just be kicking at everything that moves. You look at Burnley players and you think there's a few of them in there who are playing for themselves because they want a big contract next year. You know, you look at the lad who's playing up front, Ings he's going to go to Liverpool, definitely. You know, he's playing for that. You look at all these, you look at Villa, they've got a new manager in, whatever you think about them, but they've got lads, and you look at us and I just think, do we know where we are? Do we know what we're playing for? And sometimes I look at those players and I go, if we go down, you're all gone. Now, yesterday I done a list of players that should be moved on in the summer. And the worrying thing is, if we go down, they'll be the 11 that start for us next season, and that's the worry.
I tell you now, I done a list, and again, I'm not. I don't think we'll go down. But I said it before, Man City, Tottenham, they've all said it and all gone down. We will need. We're getting an old squad. Pienaar. Yeah. You've got Tony Hibbert, Ozzy.
But Tony Hibbert and Ozzy be starting.
No, but this stand.
Yeah.
I started going through the team. I thought to myself,
I got 11 yesterday.
It doesn't matter where we are, where we end up. If we do fantastic at the end of the season, we've got to get at least 6 or 7 in just to replace, certain players.
Our finishing position will
dictate
in the budget.
But again, whether you've got to sort of sell somebody at the end of the season, we'll have to wait and see. But it's just. You keep looking at sorts of players that could help us. If we got the cash to help us again, but it's going back to the play though.
That's quality
again,
though, isn't it?
If you want to sign for Everton, you think, well, what formation did he play?
Yeah.
The very slow build up from the back. If you're a forward, would you want that? And you think to yourself, well, if you're a wide player, do you get it early enough? And then you start looking through. It might be the same ones again.
The real worry there is, Ronny, next season. We are going to need 2 new centre-halves. Alcaraz and Distan have gone. They're finished.
Need at least one.
We need another right back because Ibbert's finished. Osman's pretty much finished. Garbutt's he still hasn't signed a contract, so therefore he's going to be gone. Pienaar's gone. Gibson, you look at it and you think, as much as we all talk about him, 2 games a season isn't very good.
No, but again, Barry will be 34 and he's got 2 years to go. So really, he
what I mean is that we've just mentioned
there's a lot of business to be done.
We've just mentioned 6 near definites.
Yeah.
Now they're going to have to be replaced. So if you finish 13th, 14th, you're going to replace them by this type of player, aren't you? Can do a job. You finish top 6, you can get quality then. And that's the worry, they're definitely going to need to be replaced.
Well, I can tell you we're not going to finish top 6.
We know that, so the squad is going to be worse.
But as you said, with the 6 to replace, I mean, we should be where the squad's not too bad, and then you can get, say, 3 or 4 to top it off, and then we can make a go for it. It doesn't matter where we finish, we've got to replace them just like for like.
Exactly.
So even finishing high up the table, it's I don't know, 1.5 million, how high you finish. So it's money from now to the end of the season. It doesn't matter what you do.
I asked on Twitter on our thing, because a lot of people yesterday were #Martinez out and all that, and I just said, all right, well, if you get rid of him then, who do we bring in? So I've had a few tweets. At Paul Brownie FC, I'd give Karanka a go, lad at Middlesbrough, worked under Mourinho, so understands that results are the main objective. At Ian HCFC, Ronald McDonald could do a better job, and Berry could play players in their correct position and have the balls to drop Barry. I don't play, you know what I mean? Tony FC, tittle-tattle passing, needs to go, let them play their natural confidence. Kirkham 81 wants Slaven Bilic. Nothing but Buffo gives me a big explanation, not bothered about that one. Rob Walker 1878, Laudrup, Koeman, De Boer, Bilic, Karanka, Laudrup. Now the problem for me is that's great, these kind of names getting bandied about, but I don't think the likes of De Boer will come to Everton. He'd have a look and
go. Did you think Koeman would go to Southampton?
Why would Koeman leave Southampton?
No, but did you think Koeman would go to Southampton?
No, so you think De Boer would come here?
I'd be surprised. No, when you see a player go to any Premier League player,
love it, don't they?
It's the money at the end of the day. Premier League offers the money.
No, that's where they've come. I mean, the Dutch used to be, but it's like now. It's an easy life for him with Ajax. You get PSV and them. But they all want to come here, and the money just goes to
Did you ever think Laudrup would ever go to Swansea?
Oh, no.
There you go.
No.
I think
they want money to spend as well, don't they? These managers, when you get these managers who've been top players, they come in and they want money to spend.
Well, Karanka might be a shout because he's got a bit of experience doing well at Middlesbrough. They look a good side, so they haven't got any money.
But it's always a gamble.
Well, surely there's money.
I'd go for Koeman. I think Koeman, again...
to come here?
Well, it's what you can come up with, and I think 40,000 every week, I think in the history of the club and blah de blah, but you sort of look the way Koeman in such a short time has played, the way they play, and it's the network again. I always go back to that. He's a big time player, big time name.
The name,
the Barcelona connection. Delafeu might go back and might get him back, But he's got the pull. And some of the lads and not. Did you hear of 3 or 4 players that Southampton had signed? I don't think you had, but I keep in touch with the obviously the Dutch league, and you sort of get from 20 into your day and all these things. You go, who's that? And they've just settled in so quickly. You know, Shardon, I think, might go. I don't know whether he'll keep in. But, I think he'd be the one. I think he'd be fantastic. And again, I'm like you. It's not a sacking for Roberto for me. But I just think, please, start learning of not just playing the one way. And it's something I think the supporters, it really does start to hate. As well as the results.
I'd love to see us play the way we do in terms of keeping the ball, because I think at times it's fantastic, but mix it up. Get the formation right. I want to see. Well, look Lukaku can't play in a 1, and I'm going to say it now, and people will go, he can't. Someone's arguing with me yesterday, he's got everything. He hasn't got a first touch, I'm sorry, he hasn't. So therefore, if he's up on his own in a 1, it's bouncing away from him, he's not getting time to hold it. If you play with 2 and he can run the other way, you're getting 25 goals out of him, and crosses.
Well, we're not a Chelsea, but I'll throw it at you over the way Mourinho plays. You've got John Terry and you've got Cahill, 2 English centre-halves. We've got John Stones and Jagielka. You've got Baines on the left, England international, and you've got a right back, Seamus Coleman, who Man United, Chelsea, they'd have tomorrow. So that's not a bad back 4 for me.
Good start.
So, but you need a manager to be like Mourinho and say, look, we've got to be more adventurous. Now, we'd have thought he'd like Hazard, he'd like Oscar, he'd like Willian. But he gets the best. He's got a beast up front, obviously, in Costa. But it's who he plays around him. And again, it's having a thing, when we haven't got the ball, I want you to work hard to get it. But when we've got it, just go.
Well, as you just said, all them players, they have Matic in the middle who just they all revolve around him, and he's the beast. And as much as I like who we've got him in field, and I love James McCarthy, and don't think he's fully up to it yet, but we don't have a sly little. I mean, I know Besic has come on as the more he's played, but we haven't got someone in these.
Oh no, Matic.
But the other thing is, people will go, but Chelsea play 1 up front. But he's unbelievable.
He's the best one.
He is, but the other thing,
two actually.
Well, he is, but the other thing they do is they've got quality all around them. Now, if Everton are going to play with the 1, I don't think we've got that quality all around. Morales is hot and cold.
No, but if you don't try it, Baz, you'll never know.
No.
This is what I'm saying about the draws at home. If you lose 1 at home, it's not the end of the world. No. But if you draw 4, you think, well, hang on, I used to go to college, and then you look at it and you go, well, when you draw, you drop 2 points. If you win, out of 3 games, you get 1 defeat, 2 wins is 6 points, 3 draws is 3, so you go, I'll have a bit of that.
You'd have a goal,
but you would do, that's what I'm saying. I think supporters then, when you're in here or wherever you go, talking after the game, you say, we had the right go today. You're not going to have to look or whatever, but it's when the game drifts and you think, you touched on it before, making substitutions, do it then. Don't wait till after. Moisey started doing it near the end, you're thinking, do us a favour. You can see it all, it's going to happen. Then it goes 1-0, then he'll make a change. You think, we'll do it before it happens. Be proactive.
I was brought up on when you're 1-0 down and you've got a centre fireworks on the bench, you bring him on. You put as many on as you can to get a goal. You don't go.
But I don't think we asked the other manager enough questions.
And
that's what we've got to do.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Do us a favour if you're on Twitter. Stop giving abuse to Ronny. Ex-Evertonian.
Hang on, before we finish.
Says what he wants.
Before we finish, Ronny, just talk us through that for Friday.
Oh yeah, race night. We've got a race night this Friday in the Winslow. Best pub in Liverpool, obviously. We've got for my charity, L Through Sport. And it'd be a good night. I mean, I've had a real great response, to be honest, and as Ped said over Twitter, it's been fantastic. It really has, and everyone that's retweeted and all that, appreciate that. And it's a good night to say, come along and
can you still sponsor races?
Well, there's 3 races to sponsor. There's 8 races, and John Bailey's coming as well, so we'll have a few drinks. But there's 3 races to sponsor, £50, and you get your name. And then we're doing the Joe Royal tribute in May, and I'll give you the mention in the programme as well that we're getting it done for the evening.
Fantastic.
They're all welcome to come along. Only a £5 ticket, Baz. So
get it, make it full house.
Yeah, that's when's that? This Friday.
In the
window.
6th of March.
And also the Joe Royal Tribute Night at the Devonshire. That is on the 22nd of May. Make sure you get your tickets for that one as well. Health Through Sport on Twitter. That's Ronny. Stop giving him abuse.
No, I've only had one. I won't even give him the thing I mentioned. It wasn't abuse, but it was somewhere where I think it was Roberto's son. and all the rest of them have been fantastic. And again, like these, you know, it's discussions. We've all got opinions, and we all want Everton Football Club to get back where we belong, and that's what it's all about. And you know, do it in the right way.
Brilliant stuff, Ron. Brilliant to have you on any time. You speak your mind.
Do a favour. Do you want to get? If we come on again, that'll be 3 times.
Yeah,
do I get a signed ball off the
of
area?
course,
Yeah, no,
that's a picture of us as well.
You've heard that, Les. You've heard that.
Have a picture, have anything you want. Big thanks to Les Roberts
thanks for having
on
me.
Twitter. What is it, Les Roberts?
77.
77.
Porno Tash. Nice one. From me, Ped and Baz as well. We'll catch you next time. See you later.